my brother Matt. My name is Nick Jackson, and you are watching the No Gimmicks podcast.
Well, you're listening to the No Gimmicks.
Well, you're listening. It's a podcast. You listen to it. Yeah, you get the point. Too sweet me. Boom!
Shout out to the Young Butts giving us our endorsement there. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the No Gimmicks podcast. It's your boy Todd Smith here once again, alongside my tag team partner Dale Clifford out there in Fernley, Nevada. Dale, what's good, my man?
A lot, actually. It's like the weather seems to finally be cooperating, and it is a chance for everybody to get outside in the northern part of Nevada.
All right. And joining us this week here, our special guest from Northern Cali, I got my man Mitch Valentine on the phone here. Mitch, what's going on, my man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, sir, most definitely. It's good to have you on, man. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this. So, Mitch, I think you and Dale had already established that you guys had kind of crossed paths out there in Reno. You know, you guys both were working RWF shows there and stuff and whatnot, but I'm not sure if you and I have ever really had the chance to meet. So I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of info on you. You know, tell us a little bit about yourself and give us an idea as to what inspired you to get involved in the pro wrestling business.
Oh, man, that's a great question, man. I always tell people, you know, growing up, there was a black kid named Darnell, man, and he got me into three things that still stick with me to this day.
All right.
Basketball, rap music, and pro wrestling, man.
All three, good. All three, good.
Yeah, I didn't really, I'll be honest, man, like, I didn't like it as a kid. Like, I wasn't a big fan in the early 90s, but the year 2000 came along, and my buddy Darnell said, hey, you got to check out The Rock, man. This guy's legit. He talks smack.
Yes.
He backs it up. And I turned on wrestling, man. The first thing I saw was The Godfather and his hose, and I was like,
yes.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to watch this. And, and then saw The Rock and Kurt Angle and Triple H and just, yeah, man, I was hooked.
Okay, so real quick here before I toss it to Dale, speaking of The Godfather, you know, Godfather actually went to the school that Dale and I went to, the University of Nevada, Reno.
For sure.
So he actually, he played some football up there, and I also had a run-in with him. I actually got the opportunity to say what's up to him when I was out in Vegas. This is going back probably about maybe 15 years ago. So at this point, at one of his gentleman clubs that he runs out there in Vegas, if you catch my drift. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
yeah, man.
Big shout out to The Godfather, man. I'm glad they finally put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean,
without question.
Career and just entertaining character, no matter what he was doing.
Most definitely, man. No matter which incarnation he was, whether he was Godfather or Papa Shango or Kama, the Ultimate Fighting Machine. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and toss it to Dale. So, Dale, what you got for Mitch Valentine, my man?
Well, obviously, we were on the multiple personas of the Godfather. So, just tell us a little bit about where Mitch Valentine came from.
All right, man. Well, I've kind of been all over. I basically spent most of my time growing up in the Paradise, Chico, Northern California area.
Okay.
But I mean, I was out in St. Louis for a year, and down south in Southern California. But basically, man, I was only child, raised by my mom, and my mom's was a singer. So anything good that I have as far as entertaining people, I credit her. She's just a natural performer, and I'm a mama's boy. You know what I mean? Like I said, raised by my mom, no siblings, and just discovered pro wrestling at about 12 years old, and that was kind of the one thing that really was consistent for me every week. I got into a lot of trouble when I was a kid, man. I got into a lot of trouble, a lot of fights. People might know I got a little bit of a mouth on me. So I pretty much said and did whatever I want when I was a kid, man. And thankfully I was able to, pull myself out of that, start going to college, start pursuing entertainment, and here we are today.
All right, man. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with being a mama's boy, man. I can honestly say, as much as I love my dad, whenever my parents come out here to the East Coast to visit me, I'm right up underneath my mom as well, and I'm an only child, so I can kind of relate with you on that, man. So, brother, you telling it, man. I'm telling you, nobody's a better cook than my mom. I think that's pretty much a general consensus, though, Anyhow, a couple of weeks ago, we had the opportunity to have Mr. Primetime Zach Reed as our guest here on the No Gimmicks podcast. He spoke very highly of you, Mitch, and he gave a lot of credit for helping him to resurrect Pro Championship Wrestling to yourself. So I was just kind of curious, what were some of the challenges which you faced during that process?
Well, first of all, man, I mean, Zach Reed is like an older brother to me. I mean, he came in, I was 18 years old, and he was my trainer, in wrestling, and he taught me, not only wrestling, but he taught me how to promote a show, and he taught me how to get out there and be confident and talk to people. And believe it or not, I was actually a pretty shy guy before getting involved with Pro Championship Wrestling.
No, come on now.
Yeah, man, Zach opened a lot of doors for me, man. But what was your original question?
Yeah, basically, because from the way it sounded to me, Zach made it sound as you guys faced some challenges during that time span, of getting PCW back up and running once again. And he had kind of credited me, or credit you, and he had told us that you had, I guess, came up with some ideas and stuff along the way, the Winning the Dream competition or something like that, where you can get, free training through PCW and stuff like that. So...
Yeah, man, I mean, Zach, Rick Luxury, myself, we all had lots and lots of ideas. And as far as, my contributions, man, I was just a young, hungry, very passionate guy. And, Zach gave me, he likes to say, the keys to the car, and I kind of drove that thing up and down. We did a lot of stuff in Chico, of course, Oroville, just still where we call home. And, and training all these guys and girls. And I mean, I'm going on 11 years, since my first day at the old PCW work farm in Yuba City. And it's really great to see how far it's come now.
Good stuff. Yeah, PCW has came a long way. I was telling Dale, prior to we begin recording this episode, I remember when I used to be a part of PCW as a hired gun, and this is going way back in the day, man. I'm talking about back in the early 2000s. We were doing shows up there in Marysville and out there in Yuba City in front of 600 to 700 people. So this company has drawn strong, audiences for years and years on end. So yeah, you guys have really, I think you guys were a part of NWA at one point as well, weren't you? The National Wrestling Alliance?
Yeah, it was NWA California. That was a little before I started, man. I started in April of 2006.
Okay.
And it was basically the transition from leaving Yuba City, Marysville, over to running in Oroville every month. So
right.
It was just, and Schizo had just been locked up, so I never met Schizo.
He was interesting, man.
I kind of started in a whole different era of PCW, man. I never got to experience those older days in the Yuba City and the fairgrounds and all that stuff, man. I wish I could have been there, though.
Lots of fun memories, man. I'm telling you, I still reminisce every once in a while. I talk to some of the guys, Junior Smithers. He's one of the guys who was in PCW with me at the time. We always take a little walk down memory lane from time to time. So I'm going to go ahead and send it back over to Dale here. He's got a question he'd like to ask you about a certain relationship that you were involved in at one point in your life.
Well, all right. So is it true that at one point you were an item with a Tamara Lynn Stitch?
Yeah, Dale, man, I think it's pretty well documented. If you follow me on Facebook, I'll give you guys the story here. Basically, what happened was
do tell, Mitch.
So this is good. So I told this on Conan's podcast. He actually had me on Keeping It 100.
Oh, cool.
I told the story a little bit, but no, I want to tell it to you guys, man. It's a good story. I was working with Donovan Troy in PCW. He was my manager, and we had a lot of great stuff going on together, and we would talk a lot about everything, and we just wanted to really make a statement with what we were doing, and I think we did. But as a person, man, Donovan was he was a great guy, and he wanted to take me to WrestleMania, And he said, well, I got a ticket. I want you to come. And I was like, I'm going to say no to WrestleMania. So,
no way.
So we stopped over at the Reno Wrestle Factory on Friday night. I wrestled Martin Casas that night, hung out with all the Reno boys, and then we hit the road to San Jose for the WrestleCon. And the WrestleCon was, the day before WrestleMania. It was an autograph session during the day, where I got to do security for Bret Hart and Ric Flair. And
nice.
Yeah, I got a funny Ric Flair story I'll tell you one time too. But
okay.
that night was the WrestleCon show. And I show up. I didn't really have anything going on at the show, but I just showed up to show face and shake hands and just, kind of make connections. And
right.
That's what happened. I saw a girl, a blonde woman with some sparkly heels. I didn't recognize her right away, but I just went up to her and I said, "Oh man, I really like your heels." I said, "My name's Mitch." And she looked at me and she goes, "Call me Tam." And so it all started, man. We just kind of, I helped her to a merchandise table, man. We hit it off. Our birthdays are 10 days apart.
Okay.
We just really clicked, man. We just talked for hours, and then she invited me to her hotel room that night.
My man.
And so it's a PG show, but you can imagine what happened.
Hey, that's cool, man. You took it about as far as you can. That's cool. We appreciate you sharing that much. But, I mean, I'm just going to say this to you, Mitch. You get props, man. I don't know how many guys, can say that not only did they have the opportunity to, be with not only a diva, but the diva. You know what I'm saying? Hall of Fame worthy right here. I mean, this is good stuff, man. So, yeah, so you definitely get props from me on that, man.
Oh, it was good stuff. And it was crazy, man, because, it's like, what do you do after that goes down? Well, you call your wrestling trainer. So I'm there at the hotel with Sonny, and I'm on the flip phone with Prime Time and Rick Luxury, and they can't believe it. They're in shock.
Yeah. They're probably sitting there just saying, yeah, right, man, you're ribbing us, right? You're ribbing us. This ain't for real. But yeah, it was the real deal. That is good stuff, man.
And we spoke on the phone, and we kept in communication, and then we just decided that I had to go back to Pennsylvania and hang out with her. And it was supposed to be just a week-long visit, but it ended up being about a month.
Wow.
So, living with Tammy Lynn Sitch for a month was quite the experience.
Look at you, pimpin'. Mitch, you all right in my butt, brother. So that's cool, man. Thanks for sharing that experience with us. Yeah, I'll definitely keep that one in mind there. Next time I see someone who I'm really attracted to, man, I'm just gonna be like, hey, you know what? You got some really nice heels, and just go from there, like how you did, man. So now, hey, we have a couple of questions from some of our listeners and our viewers on Facebook. So one of these questions here, actually a couple of questions are going to be coming from Steve Piankowski, a.k.a. Wrecking Ball Paul Isadora. He is the owner of the Reno Wrestle Factory. So the first question he had for you, Mitch, is I guess how much better could the MPT, Mr. Primetime versus Isadora program have been, I guess? What's your take on that program from Pro Championship Wrestling?
Yeah, man. So like I said, myself, Zach, and Rick, we had a big, we would basically talk about all the storylines and basically put everything together for a good amount of years. And my idea was to bring in Paul. When you got a 7-foot giant, man, you got to bring the guy in and he's got to just destroy people.
Exactly.
And that's what you do with a giant. So my idea was for Paul was to bring him in, have him win our annual Last Man Standing Rumble.
Right.
And then go on and challenge Primetime for the title at Extreme Measures.
Okay.
Well, when you get an idea and things start changing and everybody has different ideas, so they kind of hot-shotted that and had Paul wrestle Zach at the Last Man Standing event. And Bradley Rotten was really involved with this too, which I knew would be good because Bradley Rotten is a manager, a musician here in Chico, really underrated on the mic, and him and Zach had a lot of good promos back and forth.
Okay.
And, I thought it was a pretty solid program, man. It kind of transformed into Primetime in Chico for the title, but anything could be better in hindsight when you think about it.
Right.
But I actually thought those guys they had a pretty good program, man. I thought we drew 700 people to that Last Man Standing event where
nice.
They were wrestling for the title. Myself and Rick had a big storyline going into that as well, but I thought it was good, man. And Paul Isadora, he's a really underused talent, I think.
Yeah.
I think promotions could be doing a lot more more with him, but I love the guy, man. I love Big Paul.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to train with him, and also kind of go up and down the road with him. So yeah, it was definitely some good memories with those guys from the Reno Wrestle Factory there. So for the second question, I'm going to go ahead and send that over to Dale. Dale, what you got for Mitch Valentine here?
So obviously you were talking about the number 700 for the attendance for that match that featured MPT and Paul in the main event. And I know that you guys have drawn fairly big numbers like that. What's kind of something you can relate to in terms of like the promoting advice that you can give for ways to get people out to the shows?
Promoting advice? Shoot, man, I think I'd have to charge you for that. No, I'm just kidding. No,
game don't come for free, right?
No, I really, gosh, man, I've been doing it for over a decade, like I said, and I credit Zach for teaching me all these old school ways of promoting, and that's what it comes down to, is the old school ways, is getting out there and just talking to people.
Right.
You can buy your Facebook advertising and you can buy your TV and radio advertising, but when you're talking to someone and you have passion and they can feel that passion coming from, they're going to want to. That's when you're going to make some money.
Yeah, man. It's all about interacting, man. You got to interact with people. I agree 100%.
When you're selling, and to add to that too, like I've sold a lot of things that people consider me kind of a salesman, and they think I should sell cars and do all this stuff, but it's like, I can't sell something unless I'm passionate about it and I believe in it. And, for 11 years, I believe in pro championship wrestling, and that comes through to people, and
yes.
And you got to have passion and you got to believe.
Damn straight, brother. So now moving on to this is his last question that he had. Basically, who are your favorite guys to work with, man? Just kind of give a list of the guys who you like to work a long program with. And then the other part of the question was, who would you want to manage? So it's a three-parter. Favorite guys to work with, who you like to have a long program with, and who you like to manage. So.
All right, man. Well, pretty obvious. I mean, Zach Reed is a guy that I trained with for a long time, and we had a lot of great times in that ring. Rick Luxury is another guy. Paul Isadora himself, man. I had my first singles match with Big Paul, and we've done a couple things over the years, and I always have a good time with him. Matt Carlos is a guy that I have a long history with, and we were able to go out there at that Oroville Municipal Auditorium and wrestle for the PCW Championship and tear it down, man. As far as some other guys I'd like to work with that I never got a chance to, right off the bat, I got to say AJ Kirsch.
Yes.
Because, he's actually the guy that gave me the flyer to PCW. And got me started. Yeah, man, I credit AJ. He kind of got me started. Zach was in Japan, and AJ, not only did he give me a flyer at the old Arco Arena, but once he was there for my first day of training. I had some transportational issues, and he would let me, he'd let me crash at his house, and he'd take me to training. And
good stuff.
Man, with everything he's been doing, I really wish I would have got a chance to work with him. Who knows if that'll ever happen. Also, got to say, Big Sin is a guy I'd love to work with, whether as a manager or if I did decide to get back in the ring. Big Sin, War Pig Jody.
He's a good dude. I like Jody.
Yeah, man. Jacob Fatu, also, a guy that I've really had my eye on lately. He's been tearing it down.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you were aware of this or not.
Manage Big Paul. I'd love to manage Big Paul, man. I think we would have some fun together. I got a chance to manage Cupid Mikey Shoop, a.k.a. Shoop Shellhammer, and that was over there for Fist Combat, man. We had a great time doing that.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, AJ actually recently has kind of joined us almost like in a social media promotions kind of role. So he's been really helping us get the word out about the No Gimmicks podcast on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. Yeah, definitely a good guy who's making a lot of moves in the both the wrestling business and in the acting business. So moving on here to the next question. We have another question from another Facebooker. So Dale's going to ask you this one. We figured there's got to be some sort of backstory on this one because you know the guy. So Dale, go ahead and hit Mitch with the next question here.
No. I'm leaving that one up to you. I'm going to Dustin here. I'm going to ask from a Dustin Robertson. Mitch, what is your favorite highlight in Pro Championship Wrestling? Todd, you're going to be a little bit better at that other question, so I'm going to leave that one up to you.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
My favorite highlight, man, 11 years. That's a tough one, man. I mean, the go-to would be, obviously, I would say the night that I wrestled primetime in the main event for the PCW Championship and won the PCW Championship. That was a moment that I worked a decade for. It's kind of funny when I started and everything. PCW was the first independent show I ever went to, and I just never really had WWE in my sights. But once I started experiencing PCW, I said, this is what I want. I believe in this company, and there's some amazing talent here. Guys like Scotty Abood, Old School Oliver John.
Yeah.
If I could ever just be on these guys' level in that main event, holding that title, that would really mean a lot to me. And I'm so thankful through hard work, determination, everything else. I was able to do that. So that was probably the highlight of my PCW career so far.
Most definitely, man. So now this next question here comes from Inocencio Gonzalez from Facebook. So I see you guys are on your mutual friends and whatnot here. He is asking, are you his dad? Is there some sort of backstory behind this or some sort of inside joke, Mitch? If so, please explain it, or is it just a silly question?
Oh, JR the Toe Man. You gotta love him, man.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. He's older than me, so I think that'd be a pretty difficult thing to accomplish, being his father, being younger than him.
This ain't Don't Be a Menace, man. It was possible in that movie, right? And Don't Be a Menace, the Hood or whatever it was called, the Wayans Bros film, where the dad was younger than the son.
Yeah. Yeah, but hey, shout out to JR the Toe Man, though. That guy does a lot of work as far as, getting the ring all set up and safe for everybody. And he's put in a lot of work over the years, and he's been definitely involved with PCW for a while. So, no, I'm not his dad. Thank God I'm not his dad.
Good stuff, man. So now on the more serious side of things, Dale has another question for you, Mitch.
All right, well, you just briefly mentioned Fist Combat, so neither of us are familiar with that company from Santa Cruz. So if you could tell us a little bit more about that and how you're all connected with it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Mikey Gordon is the promoter there. He was just on Raw getting in there with Braun Strowman a few months back. I actually met him through the Chico comedy scene. We do a Chico comedy festival every year, and I met him. He was doing a Macho Man Randy Savage kind of act, and super entertaining. Really just kind of clicked with the guy, and we found out, we both had ties to pro wrestling, both had ties to St. Louis, and it just clicked with him, man. A lot of people say a lot of things about this guy, but a lot of people say a lot of things about me too. My experience with Mikey Gordon's been nothing but positive.
Okay.
The guy is, he motivates me, man. He's an inspiring guy. He does a lot of things. He just moved down to Los Angeles. He was running Fist Combat in Santa Cruz, and myself and Mike Shoup went up there and did a couple shows for him, and I got to do my Uncle Love character.
Uncle Love.
Uncle Love, yeah, with the baby oil spraying down my neck.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It got crazy. But yeah, no, Mikey Gordon is an awesome guy. In fact, he just debuted for Ring of Honor this last weekend.
Oh, okay.
In Vegas.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I was at their show over in the Hammerstein Ballroom over in New York City a week ago, man. Those guys put on one hell of a show. Props to Ring of Honor, the best wrestling on the planet, if you ask me. So real quick, kind of elaborating on what Dale just asked you, how does Uncle Love differ from Mitch Valentine there?
Well, the Heartbreaker Mitch Valentine is he's a flamboyant, dancing wrestler that basically thinks he's the best looking man of all time and all the ladies want him. And backs it up in the ring and takes a lot of chances and can take a lot of punishment, as seen on multiple different shows, True TV and everything else that I've been involved with. But Uncle Love is just it's actually it's kind of a take off my uncle a little bit, because my uncle's kind of crazy, and but it's also me just kind of being a little more I would say a little more kind of rednecky, like I kind of got an accent. Uncle Love talks like this, and Uncle Love, and you don't want to piss off Uncle Love because he'll hit you with his belt. I'll whip you with my belt, and my nephew Cupid Shoop he'll kick your butt. So don't mess with Uncle Love. But at the time, I just, like I said, we got so much to talk about, man. Like, I had shoulder surgery a couple months ago. I've been dealing with a really bad shoulder issue. Yeah, so haven't been wrestling a lot. So for about the last year and a half. So Uncle Love was just a character, an outlet for me to manage, kind of do something a little different as far as instead of getting in the ring and taking bumps.
Gotcha. All right, so now since you've been spending some time away from the wrestling business, I see one of the things that you do is you serve in the role of a host for comedy shows, and I think you had told me that you had dabbled in it from time to time over the years. I've noticed that more and more wrestlers are giving comedy a try these days. Do you feel that the two professions kind of go hand in hand?
Absolutely. Comedy's harder, though, I think. Maybe not physically, but just, emotionally and what's the word, in your head, man, like, having to come up and write and intellectually and it's just you and a microphone, you get up there and, Drake Nelson's a guy that kind of started it all as far as, I'd say NorCal guys or whatever getting into comedy. And there's a good scene out for it here in Chico, so I kind of dabbled around and did some open mics, and I've promoted 5 shows.
Oh, good stuff.
Going on 6. Yeah, we got one coming up on April 7th in Shenanigans in Chico. But I just kind of took what I learned in wrestling and kind of applied it to comedy. I'm definitely not the best stand-up comedian in the world, but I do have some good stuff that that will just get better as long as I put in the repetition and the work,
Definitely, man. So we've had, about a good maybe about 25 minutes or so worth of questions we've asked. We've been able to get in some of the stuff from the folks on Facebook. So at this point, man, we would like to give you the opportunity to promote any projects, any shows or appearances which you have coming up in the future. So with that being said, Mitch Valentine, the floor is all yours, my man.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you having me on, like I said, and man, we didn't even scratch the surface, bro. I would love to come back on.
Well, open invitation. It's open door, my man.
Yeah, man. Now, as far as what's coming up, I returned to Pro Championship Wrestling, basically in a commentary. I've been doing a lot of commentary. Now they got me doing ring announcing, which is fun. I love being in front of a microphone, in front of a camera, in front of a crowd. So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, man. So PCW Work Farm Wars is coming up March 18th in Oroville at the PCW Work Farm, 2305A Beach Street. Of course, they're in Oroville, California. And we'll be returning to Oroville at the Municipal Auditorium for the, celebrating 18 years of Pro Championship Wrestling. Extreme Measures going down April 15th.
All right.
And then, in the comedy world, man, we just to go back a little bit, when I was working with Zach and we were doing a big storyline, and he was the champion and I was the challenger, and he was the wrestler and I was the entertainer. We did a thing where when I won the title, man, Pro Championship Wrestling was dead and Pro Championship Entertainment was born.
Okay.
And so we kind of went with this PCE thing, and it unfortunately didn't last very long as I hurt my shoulder and I was out. But Pro Championship Entertainment lives on. We just had our first show, like I said, at Shenanigans back in February, and we're coming back April 7th for stand-up comedy. And Drake Nelson himself, man, he's going to be
Cannibal Drake.
The Cannibal's coming to Chico, man.
All right.
April 7th. Zach Reed will be there, and I got another batch of great comedians. And that's going down April 7th, man. So 3 shows here in the next month, man. So
right on.
Nice little busy time. And also, Todd, if I can say myself, man, I've got my own podcast going on. Mitch, please.
Tell us. Yes.
Yes, sir, man. YouTube.com/TheMitchValentine. And, of course, you can find Mitch Please on Facebook. And I love it, bro. Podcasts are just where it's at now, man. It's just, you don't have to watch them. All you got to do is listen. and you can get things done. And like I said, I really appreciate you having me on your podcast today.
My man, it has been a pleasure having you on. You know, we, like I said, had never really had the opportunity to really meet or talk or anything, but I've gotten kind of some insights as to who you are and your career and whatnot. Yeah, Mitch. We just scratched the surface, so this is only part one. Let's consider this part one. You will be back for part two, and we'll kind of dig a little bit deeper into your past, and you kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself. But at this point in time, we're going to have to go ahead and wrap things up here. I know that myself, my tag team partner Dale, and Mitch can sit here and talk about wrestling all night long, but that is all the time we have. Thank you for joining us for this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. We are No Gimmicks, No Image, all wrestling, all the time. Please visit our official YouTube channel. You can find us at www.youtube.com/the No Gimmicks Podcast. If you would like to receive our notifications when we release our new episodes, then please subscribe. We would like to hear from our viewers, so please leave us some feedback in our comment section on our official YouTube channel. Also, please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at the No Gimmicks PC. Be on the lookout for my updates on my personal LinkedIn account weekly, usually on Monday afternoons. Also, check out Craig Perkins' weekly article featured on ProWrestling.com. And remember, sharing is caring. Feel free to share the links to our episodes with other pro wrestling fans on your social media accounts as well. That does it for this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. For my tag team partner Dale Clifford in Fernley, Nevada, this is Todd Smith in Bristol, Connecticut signing off. Until next time around, y'all take care.